The Garcia Report. Dun dun dun. Prosecutions, finally, in the Hillsborough Disaster. Toronto FC is the champion of Canada. Streaming soccer news for the Premier League and Champions League and Confederations Cup and UEFA Under-21 updates, including a hidden cheat sheet in a sock. It's Wednesday, June 28th, 2017, from the Total Soccer Show, Dirty Tackle, and Howler Magazine. This is the Goalmouth. I'm George Qureshi. And I know Daryl really built up this whole Garcia report, but I have some bad news. It's not that exciting. At least, it's not that exciting if you were expecting / hoping / needing something to validate your strong suspicion that the Russian and Qatar World Cups were ill-gotten. And to be sure, there are delicious little morsels here, like the humiliating lengths to which the English FA went to try to get a job for one of Jack Warner's little minions, or the trail of millions of dollars that leads from Qatar to ex-Barcelona president and Nike Brazil chief Sandro Rosell to the bank account of Ricardo Teixeira's 10-year-old daughter. But there is little to which we can confidently raise a red card. It's the governance equivalent of calling for help from the video assistant referee and finding out that even though it sure looks like a foul, the cameras didn't quite catch the right angles to make a clear call. But I contend that if you step back and squint your eyes, the contours of the Garcia report, what's in it, what's not in it, and the slow and then hurried way that it was finally released, I contend that in a macro sense, the Garcia report confirms our understanding of FIFA as a corrupt and craven and secretive and selfish organization through which a small number of men profit from the world's collective fascination with the game of soccer. Exhibit A is the way FIFA released the document in the first place, in a hurry because Bild was about to make this into a multi-day feeding frenzy. FIFA put out a press release that had a relationship to reality that would have made Sean Spicer smile, and I don't think I've ever seen that guy smile. It claimed to be glad the report was finally coming to light, as though FIFA itself wasn't keeping it hidden away. I thought Barney Ronay in The Guardian had the smartest take on the whole affair. You should read his essay in full, but here's one snippet. Garcia must have been driven to distraction by the sheer impotence of the process, the sense of another world out of reach, doors behind doors, the basic impossibility of getting anywhere in a compress with no legal force to seize or subpoena. Instead, he relies on honesty and cooperation from a group of people you would probably assemble en masse on a podium simply to demonstrate exactly what the polar opposite of all these qualities looks like in the flesh. Now, this is my brief Goalmouth download of the Garcia report, but of course, because there is plenty to dig into for a soccer nerd like me, I will be speaking with David Goldblatt on today's Dummy podcast. It's coming out today. We didn't do one last week, so it's coming out a day early on Wednesday. And David is just the smartest person on all these things. He's got such a great historical sense of FIFA and soccer in general. And so he and I are going to be covering all the juicy details, what the report tells us about FIFA's recent history, and what it means for the organization's immediate future. I hope you'll join us there. In other big soccer and crime news, the UK's Crown Prosecution Service has announced that it will be bringing charges against 6 people involved in the Hillsborough Disaster, in which 96 Liverpool fans were killed in a crush of bodies in 1989. David Duckenfield, a police officer who was in charge of fan safety at the game, will face 95 charges of manslaughter. The 96th victim died about 4 years after the event, and under the law at the time, the death would have had to have occurred within 1 year and 1 day for Duckenfield to be held accountable. Toronto FC is the Canadian champion, and in its honor, I'm going to read that sentence again as a Canadian would. Toronto FC are the Canadian champions. God, gross. After a 1-1 draw away to Montreal in the first leg, the return leg was also tied at 1 going into stoppage time, but in the 95th minute, Giovinco, who else, scored his second goal of the game and earned Toronto a berth in the CONCACAF Champions League. 2 bits of streaming soccer news. NBC Sports will be requiring viewers to pay a little extra for a package if they want to see some of the less popular games in the Premier League next season. And Fox Sports will be streaming some of the less popular Champions League matches on Facebook, apparently for free, from what I can tell. Speaking of Fox Sports, I'd like to pause for a moment to acknowledge all the writers and editors who were fired, who were laid off, I guess, from the organization yesterday, and who will be replaced by more people making videos. That was a very sad thing. Today on TV, you can watch the European champion take on the champion of the Americas as Portugal plays Chile in the Confederation Cup semifinal. And tomorrow's semifinal will be the most interesting moment in Mexican-German relations since the Zimmerman telegram. Both are at 2 p.m. on Fox Sports. Finally, the European Under-21 final is set after Spain defeated Italy and Germany beat England on penalties yesterday. How did England lose to Germany on penalties yet again? Well, the German goalkeeper had a cheat sheet hidden in his sock, natch. Brooks wrote about that over at whatahowler.com. My name is George Gracie. Taylor Rockwell will be with you tomorrow morning. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter where you can click out to all the stories I've mentioned on this podcast. The link is in the show notes. And I leave you with today's goalmouth top tip. Take comfort. The laws of the soccer universe remain immutable. A scrap of paper tucked into a sweaty sock is more powerful than a 430-page FIFA ethics expose.